Nam opened his computer at 8 and sat down to finish a major project. 3 hours passed while he barely left the chair. Lunch was placed beside the desk so Nam could keep working without interruption. By early afternoon, his back and shoulders began to feel stiff. Despite being inactive, Nam felt more tired and less focused. His phone showed very few steps since waking. Nam told himself he would exercise hard on the weekend to compensate. The chair seemed to hold him longer than any task required. In the afternoon, Nam sat through 2 more online meetings. His neck moved forward and shoulders rose whenever he felt tense. Thu from his team suggested standing during a 5-minute break. Nam walked to the window, rolled his shoulders, and circled the room. Even a short movement break made his body less sluggish and mind clearer. It did not replace exercise, but showed that continuous sitting was not the only option. Physical activity guidance encourages adults to move more and sit less throughout the day. Any appropriate amount of movement is better than none. For substantial benefits, adults should aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate activity weekly. Muscle strengthening activities for major muscle groups are also recommended on 2 days weekly. Nam decided to begin with small pieces instead of an exhausting plan. He understood that the weekly goal did not need to happen in one session. Nam set periodic standing reminders without imposing one rigid interval every day. During breaks, he changed position, stretched gently, and walked for water. He chose stairs for a few floors instead of always using the elevator. Listening-only calls became walks around the hallway. His water bottle was placed away from the desk, so he had to stand. At lunch, Nam walked for 10 minutes instead of eating at the screen. He adjusted the monitor near eye level and moved the keyboard comfortably. The desk supported his forearms so his shoulders did not stay raised. Both feet rested firmly on the floor or a low support. Nam relaxed his shoulders and stopped forcing one rigid posture for hours. No single perfect posture can replace changing positions. The body generally prefers movement over being locked in one shape. Thu started a team challenge to add a few minutes of movement each day. Nam began with 5-minute walks between work blocks. Small bouts accumulated into a meaningful total by week's end. He tried brisk walking that raised his breathing while still allowing conversation. Twice weekly, Nam added gentle squats, wall push-ups, and resistance band pulls. He trained within his ability, rested between sets, and did not chase pain. Activity increased gradually as his body adapted instead of jumping to a large load. The new plan was designed to survive after initial excitement faded. Heavy rain prevented Nam from walking outside one day. He played music and walked around the apartment while cleaning. Cleaning, carrying items, and climbing stairs also contributed activity. Nam realized that movement exists beyond a gym. On the weekend, he took a longer walk with friends and enjoyed being outdoors. Excited by progress, Nam increased distance faster than his body was used to. The next morning, sore muscles made him fear he had done everything wrong. Thu reminded him to rest appropriately, move gently, and progress gradually. Sharp, persistent, or unusual pain should be evaluated by a health professional. People with chronic conditions or limitations should ask about activities suited to their abilities. A 2-hour meeting appeared during the busiest week. Nam suggested a short midpoint break to stand and change position. During listening sections, several people turned off cameras and walked gently. The change did not disrupt the meeting and helped people return more alert. The team met the deadline without sitting motionless from morning to night. Nam found that short walks helped him transition between tasks more clearly. Regular activity can support sleep and mood, but it is not a cure for everything. Meals, rest, stress, and health conditions still matter. Movement is part of living, not a punishment for the body. During a work flight, Nam again had to sit for a long time. When safe and permitted, he stood and took a few steps in the aisle. In his seat, Nam flexed his ankles and changed position periodically. On a car trip, the group stopped to walk instead of driving continuously. At the hotel, Nam used stairs for short trips and explored the neighborhood on foot. He did not turn every trip into a perfect workout, but found practical opportunities. At week's end, Nam reviewed total activity instead of counting only steps. He passed 150 minutes through many smaller bouts. 2 muscle strengthening sessions stayed brief but consistent. More importantly, he spent less time sitting continuously during workdays. Afternoon energy felt steadier and his back was less stiff after work. Nam no longer believed one weekend workout could repair the whole week. The morning began with a short walk before opening the computer. Lunch happened away from the desk and included a few minutes of walking. Evening activity could be strength work, housework, or a walk with friends. Rest days remained so the body could recover and the plan stayed manageable. Small changes lasted longer than a brief burst of motivation. He chose activities he enjoyed so movement would not become a heavy obligation. Nam understood the goal was a more active life, not constant limit pushing. The chair remained, but it no longer controlled the rhythm of his life. At day's end, Nam left the desk and walked outside while sunlight remained. Min began editing at 9 at night and believed he needed only 1 more hour. A phone notification pulled him into an endless stream of short videos. A cup of coffee bought after dinner still sat on his desk. Bright ceiling lights made the room feel like daytime near midnight. Min worked until 1 in the morning because his sleepiness had temporarily faded. The alarm rang at 6:30, only a few hours after he closed his eyes. He woke with a heavy head, slow reactions, and repeated the snooze button. Min blamed work without seeing the role of his evening habits. In a meeting, he forgot a detail mentioned less than 5 minutes earlier. A simple question made Min more irritable than the situation deserved. On the weekend, he slept until noon trying to repay several short nights. But on Sunday night, his body did not want to sleep on schedule. Lan from his team noticed the cycle and asked how many hours he usually slept. Adults are generally recommended to get at least 7 hours of sleep each day. Consistent sleep and wake times help the body clock predict when rest is needed. A quiet, dark, cool, and comfortable bedroom also supports sleep. Turning off electronic devices at least 30 minutes before bed is a practical step. Caffeine late in the day or evening can make falling asleep more difficult. Large meals and alcohol near bedtime can also disturb sleep quality. Daytime activity and morning light help strengthen the sleep-wake rhythm. Min chose a fixed wake time because it was the easiest anchor to control. He stepped onto the balcony for morning light instead of opening his phone. At night, the phone charged outside the bedroom with notifications silenced. Min dimmed the home lights about an hour before bedtime. He replaced short videos with a paper book and a few minutes of preparation. The goal was not forcing sleep, but giving the body repeated cues. Min turned the clock away so he would not check every passing minute. He kept the room cool, reduced noise, and blocked street light with curtains. On the first night, Min still tossed and turned and thought the plan had failed. Lan reminded him that a months-long habit rarely changes in one night. Min still got up at the planned time instead of sleeping until noon. He avoided a long nap and did not sleep late in the afternoon. By the third day, natural sleepiness appeared closer to bedtime. In the morning, he remembered the meeting better and needed less coffee. The next weekend, Min changed his sleep and wake times only slightly. A late social invitation forced him to choose between perfection and flexibility. He joined for a while, left earlier than usual, and did not blame himself. One late night did not destroy the routine when he returned to schedule. Min did not sleep away the entire day, because that could disrupt the next night. Consistency mattered more than making every night perfectly controlled. A stressful week carried work thoughts into Min's bed. He wrote tomorrow's tasks on paper so his mind did not hold them all night. A few minutes of slow breathing helped him shift from work toward rest. Min kept relaxation simple instead of turning it into a complicated ritual. When neighbors were noisy, he used earplugs and closed the window instead of playing videos. The next morning, natural light again marked the start of the day. A short lunchtime walk gave Min activity without exercising near bedtime. He moved his final coffee to before noon. Min watched his energy instead of consuming caffeine automatically. If he needed a nap, he kept it brief and not too late. A rainy day made the apartment dark and tempted him to stay in bed. Min opened the curtains, moved gently, and began the day near his usual time. During a work trip, a new time zone and hotel room challenged his routine. He brought earplugs and eye mask and kept his familiar pre-sleep sequence. Bedtime was not identical to home, but familiar cues helped his body adapt. Min understood that travel required flexibility rather than minute-by-minute control. Lan warned that loud snoring with pauses or gasping should be medically evaluated. Persistent insomnia, severe daytime sleepiness, or impaired function also deserves professional help. Min did not self-medicate with sleep products based on an advertisement. He knew poor sleep can have causes that require medical assessment. One evening after work, Min realized he was too sleepy to drive safely. He called a ride and asked a friend to collect the car the next day. Sleepiness affects not only productivity but also reaction time and judgment. Safety became a stronger reason than any productivity goal. After 1 month, Min's sleep schedule was imperfect but clearly more stable. He woke near the same time without repeatedly snoozing. Morning light, walking, and regular meals gave rhythm to the day. Coffee became something to enjoy rather than a crutch for staying awake. In the evening, the large screen turned off before Min entered the bedroom. The phone stayed outside and no longer glowed beside his pillow. A thin book replaced endless scrolling. Curtains closed, lights dimmed, and the room became quiet. Min allowed enough time in his schedule for at least 7 hours of sleep. In the morning, he often woke before the alarm made its first sound. Not every night was easy, but he knew how to return to the routine. Better sleep grew from repeated small choices, not one secret trick. He stopped treating all-night work as proof of dedication. Evening boundaries made the next day safer and more effective. Min understood that rest is a biological need, not a reward after work. That night, the screen went dark on time and the room finally entered the night. The hot morning began when Lynn rushed outside and left her water bottle on the table. She bought only a large coffee and squeezed onto a crowded bus. Sunlight through the windows made the bus feel hot and airless. Lynn felt thirsty but told herself she could wait until lunch. During the first meeting, a dull headache began to appear. Her mouth felt dry, her voice roughened, and concentration became harder. In the restroom, Lynn noticed that her urine looked darker than usual. But she blamed the computer screen and kept working. Her coworker Hui placed water beside her and asked what she had drunk that morning. Lynn took several small sips and realized she had ignored thirst for too long. Water helps regulate temperature, carry nutrients, and support normal body functions. That does not mean everyone needs exactly the same amount of water each day. Needs vary with body size, weather, activity, pregnancy, illness, and diet. Some water also comes from food and other suitable beverages. But heat and activity increase water loss through sweat. Lynn decided to drink regularly instead of waiting until she felt exhausted. She cleaned her bottle, filled it with safe water, and placed it beside the monitor. Lynn linked drinking water to familiar moments such as waking, meals, and breaks. The bottle stayed visible as a reminder without obsessive tracking. For variety, she added lemon slices instead of choosing a heavily sweetened drink. The next morning, Lynn drank water with breakfast before leaving home. She carried the bottle on the bus and sipped throughout the ride. She did not force down a huge amount at once to compensate for the morning. Lighter urine can be a useful clue, but it is not a perfect measurement. At noon, Lynn walked outside while the temperature remained high. Sweat appeared quickly, reminding her that the body was losing water and salts. She drank more water, rested in shade, and slowed down instead of pushing through. The goal was steady replacement, not excessive drinking in a short time. Headache, nausea, dizziness, weakness, and intense thirst can signal heat exhaustion. Confusion, fainting, or very high body temperature should be treated as an emergency. Pai noted that some people with heart or kidney conditions may be told to limit fluids. Personal medical guidance matters more than a universal number found online. The team began replacing one daily soda with plain water. They placed a water pitcher near the break area to make the healthy choice convenient. Lynn ate water-rich fruit, but new food did not replace all drinking needs. A bowl of soup at lunch also contributed fluid to the day's total. After several days, her afternoon headaches appeared less often. She felt more alert, but did not treat water as a cure for every problem. Sleep, meals, and stress could still affect energy and concentration. Healthy habits work best when they support one another. Another morning, Lynn forgot the bottle again while handling an urgent call. Instead of giving up, she used a cup at the office water station. She set gentle reminders for mid-morning and mid-afternoon. The reminders supported the habit without turning hydration into a competition. Before going outside, Lynn checked the temperature and carried water for the trip. She drank before the trip, during a break, and again after returning. When she felt unusually hot, she sought shade instead of relying only on water. Rest and cooling are important parts of preventing heat illness. Lynn shared her experience with her mother without imposing the same liter target. Older adults may feel thirst less clearly and need extra attention during hot weather. Each person should consider thirst, activity, weather, and personal medical guidance. The 8-glass rule is memorable, but it is not an exact requirement for everyone. Plain water is often the simplest choice, while heavily sweetened drinks should be limited. In the evening, Lynn drank enough without chasing a large target just before bed. She learned that balance was better than swinging from too little to too much. One afternoon, a power outage stopped the office air conditioning. The temperature rose quickly, and the team moved to a better ventilated area. They shared water, reduced activity, and watched one another for warning signs. Lynn understood that drinking water was only one part of a heat response plan. A coworker suddenly became dizzy, weak, and nauseated after moving equipment. The team stopped work, moved him to a cool place, and loosened his jacket. They offered small sips only while he was alert and able to swallow safely. When symptoms did not improve quickly, they called for medical help instead of waiting. Afterward, Lynn built a simple routine she could maintain long-term. She cleaned the bottle regularly so water did not collect odors or residue. She used safe water sources and did not share the bottle mouthpiece. Thirst, dry mouth, fatigue, and darker urine became signals she knew to notice. Each morning, a glass of water appeared beside breakfast instead of being forgotten. Lynn no longer waited for a headache before remembering to drink. She chose water with lunch while still enjoying other drinks reasonably. During heat forecasts, she carried extra water and planned cooling breaks. Thirst became a useful reminder instead of something to ignore. Lynn explained that no single perfect number fits every body. The key is regular drinking, awareness of conditions, and help for severe symptoms. Lynn also understood that water cannot replace meals or medical treatment during illness. If vomiting or diarrhea persisted, she would ask a health professional about appropriate rehydration. At day's end, some water remained because she did not force herself to finish it. She went home alert, knowing a small habit could prevent a difficult day. Lynn's story was not about drinking the most, but drinking sensibly at the right times. The next morning, the bottle stood beside her keys so it would not be forgotten. Mai left the train after holding rails, using a ticket machine, and checking her phone. She entered an elevator and pressed a button used by many other people. On the way to the office, Mai unconsciously brushed her hair and touched her face. With no visible dirt, her hands still looked completely clean. That day, Mai was responsible for cutting fruit for the team meal. She opened the food box and reached for a knife after putting down her phone. Her coworker Fuck asked whether she had washed before preparing the food. The question made Mai reconsider the invisible trail her hands had traveled. Germs are too small to see, and not every microorganism causes illness. But hands can transfer harmful germs from surfaces to the face or food. Proper hand washing reduces germs and chemicals carried on the skin. The timing of hand washing matters as much as the technique. Mai wet her hands under clean running water and applied soap. She rubbed her palms together until they were covered in lather. She spread the lather over the backs, thumbs, and spaces between fingers. Mai scrubbed beneath her nails where debris is easily missed. She kept scrubbing for at least 20 seconds instead of rinsing quickly. Then Mai rinsed the soap away under clean running water. She dried with a clean paper towel before returning to food preparation. 5 simple steps work better than merely dipping hands in water. Mai used a short tune to estimate 20 seconds without watching a clock. Water does not need to be very hot because soap and scrubbing are what matter. Drying matters because wet hands can transfer germs more easily. Mai washed before eating and before preparing food for other people. She washed after using the restroom and after handling trash. She also cleaned her hands after coughing, sneezing, or blowing her nose. Animals, raw food, and caring for someone sick are other important times. A healthy habit focuses on key moments instead of fearing every surface. When soap and water are unavailable, sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol can help. Sanitizer does not clean visibly dirty or greasy hands well. Fook noticed that Mai often missed her thumbs when washing quickly. She returned to the sink and cleaned every area again. Another coworker rinsed briefly before reaching for fruit. Mai explained that soap helps lift oils, soil, and germs from skin. Regular soap works well for everyday hand washing in community settings. The important part is covering all areas and scrubbing long enough. Mai removed a large ring before food preparation to clean around the finger. She dried completely before wearing food handling gloves as required. Excessive washing with harsh products can irritate and crack the skin. Mai used fragrance-free moisturizer after work to protect her skin barrier. The team meal began as everyone served food from the table. Someone coughed into a palm and reached for the shared serving spoon. Fook calmly pointed toward the sink and replaced the spoon with a clean one. The coworker washed without being judged or embarrassed. Mai used serving tongs to reduce direct contact with ready-to-eat food. Phones stayed away from the food table because they travel everywhere with hands. After checking a message, Mai washed before returning to the fruit. A visiting child asked why washing mattered when no mud was visible. Mai used glitter to demonstrate how tiny particles spread between hands. One handshake moved glitter onto cups, phones, and the door handle. The lesson was not to fear the world, but to understand routes of spread. Washing at the right moments interrupts many simple routes of transmission. During an outing, the group's sanitizer bottle unexpectedly ran empty. Mai found a nearby restroom with water and soap. The group waited a few minutes to wash before opening the food. A short delay was safer than pretending their hands were clean. Where no sink was available, they used sanitizer with an appropriate alcohol level. Everyone rubbed sanitizer over all hand surfaces until dry. Adults supervised children and kept the bottle away from flames. Sanitizer is a backup option, not a replacement for every hand wash. The next week, a coworker developed vomiting and diarrhea from a stomach infection. The team was reminded that soap and water are especially important for some germs. Shared surfaces were cleaned according to workplace guidance. The sick coworker stayed home and avoided preparing food for others. Hand washing reduces risk but does not create a perfect shield. At home, Mai washed before cooking dinner for her family. She did not rush to the sink after touching every ordinary object. Instead, Mai remembered key moments involving food, toilets, illness, and contamination. Balance made the habit effective and sustainable. The next day, Mai prepared fruit without needing a reminder. She wet, lathered, scrubbed, rinsed, and dried in the same sequence. The office made hand washing a normal part of the daily routine. Rushed mistakes became less common because people allowed time for each step. Soap lather covered backs, finger spaces, and areas around the nails. 20 seconds is brief, but it changes the quality of a hand wash. Clean hands protect the washer and other people sharing the space. The goal is not perfect sterility, but reducing transmission at key moments. Mai reminded everyone that good hand washing is best taught calmly and respectfully. Mai looked at the colorful table and saw a small habit protecting the group. Lunch ended with empty plates and hands that had been washed correctly.